Hello sports fans, it is Tuesday, April the 23rd, the year 2013, and as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Before we get into our weekly NHL State of the Union, let's go through some scores of note from last night. Let's start with the NBA playoffs. Let's start with the Chicago-Brooklyn series, where the Bulls go into Brooklyn and beat the Nets, even the series at 1, and take home court away from the Brooklyn Nets. Really nice performance by Chicago. What a difference a game makes. I mean, in game 1, it was all Brooklyn. Chicago really made some nice adjustments last night, came to play and beat the Nets last night without Derrick Rose. So very impressive road win for the Bulls. I mean, you know Noah is limited because he's banged up. Very impressive performance by the Bulls getting this win. I'll tell you, not impressed at all by the Nets. I mean, what in the world are they doing last night? They blow the Bulls out in game 1, and then they come out yesterday flat as a pancake. Terrible performance by Brooklyn. Darren Williams, the superstar of the team. Where are you? What did Darren Williams shoot? 1 for 10 from the floor last night? 0 for 5 from three-point range? I mean, he got outplayed by Kurt Heinrich on both ends of the floor. Joe Johnson had one of his typical games where he's invisible. That's why I always said Joe Johnson is not a max contract guy. Joe Johnson is not a superstar. He's a good player. He's a decent player. He is not a superstar because too many games he is invisible. I mean, the Nets really needed him last night to bail him out, and he was invisible most of this game. I mean, Chicago did some nice things defensively, especially in the third quarter where I think the Nets shot like 2 for 18 from the field. What Tom Thibodeau, who's a great defensive coach, by the way, for the Bulls, what he did, by the way, last night, he left Evans and Gerald Wallace open for the Nets all night. We know those guys are not good shooters. They can do some other good things. They're not pure shooters. So what Chicago did is they basically played 5-on-3. They left Wallace and Evans open in the third quarter, and both of them were missing shots left and right, played right into the Bulls' hands, and the Bulls had a tremendous third quarter and never looked back. So really, really nice coaching by Tom Thibodeau of the Bulls. Really nice defensive job. Made some nice adjustments in game 2. I really like what I saw from Tom Thibodeau's coaching. Tom Thibodeau's a great coach. I mean, just the fact that he's kept it together this whole season without Derrick Rose says all you need to know about him. Back to Brooklyn. I mean, I just cannot believe Brooklyn was this bad last night. Played an atrocious game at home. And here's another thing, Brook Lopez. Now, Brook Lopez had decent numbers last night, hit a lot of jumpers last night. But around the basket, Brook Lopez has to be better. He's a 7-footer. He gets blocked and stripped every time he goes down there. Go up there and dunk that ball, big man. I mean, come on, Brook Lopez. You're a foot away from the basket. I mean, he's getting stripped by guards. He's getting blocked by Noah. Go up there and dunk that ball, big man. I mean, come on, Brook Lopez. I mean, he's got to get tougher around the basket, Brook Lopez. Such a finesse player. And I don't want to lay this all on him. There was plenty of blame to go around last night. I mean, Darren Williams, awful last night. Joe Johnson, awful. I mean, Wallace couldn't hit a shot. Evans couldn't hit a shot. I mean, just terrible all the way around for Brooklyn. I thought they got out-coached last night. I mean, but Brook Lopez, come on. Go up there and be physical and dominant underneath your own basket. I mean, he was getting pushed around all night under the basket. He's a 7-footer. You hate to see that. Go up there and dunk that ball, Lopez. Come on. I mean, so a terrible loss for Brooklyn last night. I didn't like what I saw at all. Now, I thought this was going to be a long series from the start, even without Derrick Rose. I figured Derrick Rose wasn't going to play. I picked the Brooklyn in 7. I will stick with that. I think it goes 7. I think Brooklyn, being, home court, being they have Game 7 at home, I think they will get through. But I'll tell you, they set themselves up now where they have to steal a game here in Chicago. Next to in Chicago, you have to win 1. You can't drop both and go be down 3-1. I mean, then you're in real dire straits. So Brooklyn's put themselves in a position where they got to now win in Chicago. Really nice job by the Bulls last night. Very impressed by them. Great adjustments from Game 1 to Game 2. All right, so that series is 1-1. The other game last night, the Clippers at home beat Memphis. The Clippers go up 2-0. I'll tell you, the Clippers, had a nice lead in the fourth quarter of this game. Memphis comes rallying back to tie. And then Chris Paul at the buzzer, a nice little fadeaway shot off the glass. Nice shot by Chris Paul to win it at the buzzer last night for the Clippers. So he bails out the Clippers, who blew like a 9-point lead in the last 6 minutes of this game. Really nice shot by Chris Paul. I mean, I think the Clippers are going to win this series. I mean, I'm sure Memphis will get a game or two, but I think the Clippers are the better team. So they go up 2-0 on the really beautiful shot by Chris Paul off the glass at the buzzer last night. So that was kind of your NBA last night. As far as your NHL last night, Winnipeg had a huge win at Buffalo. Winnipeg right there for the 8th seed and right there for the division. Pittsburgh continues its winning ways despite all the injuries. They beat Ottawa last night. Pittsburgh sews up best record in the East. They're still fighting with Chicago for best record overall. Right now, the Blackhawks lead best record overall. Detroit, much needed win last night. They beat Phoenix. Very important win for Detroit. So they had a nice win against Phoenix. Vancouver beat Chicago last night. Vancouver's been playing good hockey. They're going to win their division. And Anaheim beat Edmonton last night. As far as your Major League Baseball last night, a few scores. Boston beat Oakland. Tampa Bay beat the Yankees. They got to CC Sabathia early in that game. Baltimore beat Toronto. I'll tell you, I know it's early. I don't like what I see from Toronto. They have high expectations, a lot of pressure on them. Spent a lot of money. I don't like what I see from Toronto early in the season. St. Louis beat Washington. Washington in a little bit of a funk since their hot start. Philadelphia beat Pittsburgh. Cincinnati beat the Cubs. Cleveland beat the White Sox. Seattle beat Houston. A couple of rainouts. Miami, Minnesota, Atlanta, Colorado rained out. Texas beat the Angels. You know, just when you thought the Angels were going to get rolling, they sweep Detroit. They're up 6-3 last night against Texas. They blow the game, so Texas, nice win against the Angels last night. Milwaukee beat San Diego. Braun, a home run. Milwaukee's on fire. Milwaukee couldn't win a game, you know, the first week of the season. Now they can't lose. Braun's on absolute fire. They beat San Diego, who's just awful. And San Francisco beat Arizona last night. So that was kind of your scores from last night. A couple, one note from last night. They're saying Phil Jackson has been contacted by the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are interested in Phil Jackson. Do you really think Phil Jackson's going to the Cleveland Cavaliers? I mean, Phil Jackson, I mean, come on. He goes to teams that are stacked, like the Bulls, like the Lakers. He's not going to rebuild at his age. I mean, a Cavalier team that won, like, what, 20 games this year? I mean, I know they have Irving. They have a high draft pick. They have some decent young players. This is a major rebuilding job here in Cleveland. I mean, I know Cleveland's got to do it. They got to talk to Jackson if they can. I appreciate that. He's not taking the Cleveland Cavalier job. I mean, no way in the world. Jackson's probably got his eyes on a job like the Clippers or something like that. Cleveland, no way Phil Jackson goes to Cleveland. All right, so let's get to our annual, our weekly NHL State of the Union as we are getting down the home stretch in hockey. Only a few games to go. Let's start in the Western Conference. We're going to go 15-1. You know, record synopsis, a little write-up on each team. All right, number 15, Colorado. They are 15, 23, and 7, 37 points. Have played better recently, but are just a disastrous year for the Avalanche. Number 14, Nashville, 15, 21, and 9, 39 points. Winless in their last 8. It's getting ugly in Music City. Number 13, Edmonton, 17, 21, and 7, 41 points. They are also staggering down the stretch. Number 12, Calgary. They are 19, 22, and 4, 42 points. They have won 3 in a row. They are showing some signs of life, but overall it's been a bad year for Calgary. Number 11, Phoenix. They are 19, 18, and 8, 46 points. They basically need to win out. I mean, they had a bad loss last night to Detroit. I don't think Phoenix is going to make it. Number 10, Dallas, 22, 19, and 4, 48 points. They have 3 games left. They basically are another team that needs to win them all. Dallas needs to win all their games. Number 9, Detroit, 21, 16, and 8, 50 points. Detroit has not won 2 in a row in a month. 2 in a row in a month they haven't won. That's hard to believe. Detroit right now in the 9th spot. They are right now 1 point behind 8th place Columbus. So those would be your teams out of the playoffs. Here are your top 8 right now. Number 8, Columbus. I mean, let me say it again. Number 8, Columbus. 22, 17, and 7, 51 points. They are one of the great stories of the NHL. They couldn't win a game at the beginning of the year. They fired their GM. They were a mess. They were finished. They were gone. Goodbye. They've rallied all the way up to the 8th spot. They're 5 games over 500. One of the best stories of the NHL, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Number 7, Minnesota, 24, 18, and 3, 51 points. 2 wins in their last 7. They've lost to Calgary. They are hanging on by a thread to one of those last playoff spots. And I like Minnesota. Minnesota's up and down. Started the year bad, then they got on fire. They were up there with Vancouver for the division. Now they've slipped back again. Very surprised they've slipped back again. Number 6, St. Louis, 26-17-2, 54 points, 9-3 their last 12. Gritty defensive team. I like St. Louis. I think they can do some things in the playoffs. Number 5, San Jose, 25-14-7, 55 points. Been good since the trade deadline makeover. San Jose's been playing great hockey. They're a team, though, you can't trust in the playoffs. Number 4, LA, 26-14-5, 57 points. Looking like they are going to get home ice in the first round. LA, very dangerous. Remember, they won the Cup last year. Number 3, Vancouver, 26-13-7, 59 points, 6-2-1 last 9. They're going to win the division. Vancouver's playing really good hockey, but like San Jose, they got to prove they can do it in the playoffs. Number 2, Anaheim, 29-11-6, 64 points. They did win last night. They weren't playing great before that. Overall, been a tremendous year for Anaheim. 29-11, Anaheim, no one thought that. No one thought they would be that good. Number 1, Chicago, 34-6-5, 73 points, 9-0-2 in their last 11. Are you kidding me? I mean, Chicago just continues to win and win and win. I mean, they have 73 points, 34-6. Unbelievable job by the Chicago Blackhawks. Tremendous. So they're the best team in not only the West, but all of hockey right now. Over to your Eastern Conference we go. Number 15, Florida. They're 13-26-6, 32 points. They've lost 6 in a row. They're going to be the worst team in hockey. Number 14, Tampa Bay, 17-24-4, 38 points. Lots of work in the offseason for Stevie Yzerman to do. A lot of work needs to be done with this team. We'll see if Yzerman can turn it around next year. Number 13, Carolina, 18-24-3, 39 points. The end can't come quick enough for Carolina. Injuries decimated this team. I thought they'd be a surprise team this year, but like I said, injuries destroyed their season. The end can't come quick enough. Number 12, Philadelphia, 20-22-3, 43 points. They've won 3 or 4. They're playing spoiler, basically. Number 11, Buffalo, 19-21-6, 44 points. They were embarrassed by the Rangers the other day. Offseason, do you trade Miller or Vanek? Do you trade both of them? We'll see what Buffalo does in the offseason. Number 10, New Jersey, 17-18-10, 44 points. Lost to the Rangers. They're done. It's going to be a long offseason for Jersey, who completely fell apart at the end of the year, and Brodor's not getting any younger. Number 9, Winnipeg, 24-19-3, 51 points. They're not getting any help, Winnipeg. They're playing good, but Washington, the Rangers, and the Islanders all keep winning. Winnipeg, by the way, and we'll get to this in a second, huge game tonight. Those would be your teams out of the playoffs right now. He would be your top 8. Number 8, Ottawa, 23-16-6, 52 points. Lost to Pittsburgh last night. They are hanging on by a thread. Overall, the coach of Ottawa's done a tremendous job. Injuries all over the place. It's amazing they stayed in the playoff race as long as they did, considering all the injuries. They're hanging on. We'll see if they can hang on. I love what the Ottawa coach has done, but they are starting to fade a little bit down the stretch. Number 7, the Rangers, 24-17-4, 52 points, 5-1 in their last 6, scored 18 goals in the last 3 games. Rangers finally starting to play good hockey at the right time. Now they're still hanging on here to the last playoff spot, so you got to keep it up. Number 6, the Islanders, 24-16-5, 53 points, 11-1-2 the last 14. 11-1-2 the last 14 for the Islanders. Incredible run they're on. Tavares looks like an MVP candidate. Number 5, Toronto, 25-15-5, 55 points. First playoff berth since 2004. Let the good times roll in one of the great hockey cities in all of North America, Toronto. So they should be really, really happy they get their Maple Leafs in the playoffs. Number 4, Montreal, 27-13-5, 59 points, 2-5 last 7. 29 goals allowed in that period. Not playing as well as they have been. You could be looking at a Montreal-Toronto first-round matchup. That could be the first time those two teams meet in the playoffs since 1979. How wild would that be? Right now they would meet, but there's still a lot of things that could change. But right now, Montreal-Toronto looks like a tasty first-round series. Number 3, Washington, 25-18-2, 52 points, 10-1-1 last 12. Ovechkin flying around the ice. He's an MVP candidate. as good as Washington's played, they're not out of the woods yet because they're still fighting with Winnipeg for the division. And if Winnipeg should jump them, Washington then all of a sudden would be in a battle for the 8th spot. So very, very precarious situation for Washington, even though they're playing well. I mean, they lose to Winnipeg tonight, they could be, right there for the 8th spot. I mean, unbelievable doings with that division race. So very, very close race there between Winnipeg and Washington. We'll keep an eye on that. Number 2, Boston, 27-12-5, 59 points. They're back in first place. They overtake Montreal. I still like Boston in the playoffs. I still like them. They're big, they're nasty, they're physical. They won the Cup 2 years ago. I like Boston's team. We'll see if they get the goaltending in the playoffs. Number 1, Pittsburgh, 35-10-0. They still haven't lost an overtime game. 70 points, 22-2 the last 24 games, even with the injuries. No Crosby, 22-2 the last 24 games. Unbelievable stretch they're on, and Ginla has fit in nicely. Need to get everyone healthy. Looks like everyone will be back for the playoffs. And remember, Pittsburgh, even though they sewed up the East, still fighting with Chicago for best record overall. Right now, the Blackhawks are a few points ahead of them. So that's kind of where you are in your NHL right now. And I'll tell you, it is coming down the home stretch in the NHL. I mean, there's only a couple games left, so you really have to make your move right now. Okay, so that's kind of where you are in your NHL. As far as tonight, Tuesday, what to watch, of course, you got your Major League Baseball. Everyone playing tonight. You got everyone in action. As far as your NBA playoffs tonight, you got 3 games on the docket tonight. You got Milwaukee at Miami. Miami leading 1-0. I would expect Miami to polish off Milwaukee. Boston at New York. I mean, New York's up 1-0. Should be a tight game. Will Boston have enough firepower to close out one of these games, especially on the road? And Golden State at Denver. Denver's up 1-0. Denver didn't play great the other night, but they did win. No Gallinari. Remember, no Lee for Golden State. I would expect Denver to get through this series. One stat from Denver. Andre Miller, who hit the game-winning shot for Denver the other day. Andre Miller has never won a playoff series, and he's been in the NBA like, 15, 20 years? Never won a playoff series. So this could be his first playoff series win. Over to the NHL tonight. Winnipeg at Washington is a tremendous game. Winnipeg could jump Washington for the division tonight if they win. This is a very, very important game. Now, Winnipeg is on a back-to-back. They played last night in Buffalo. Now they're in Washington tonight, so you have to favor Washington. They're home, and Winnipeg's on a back-to-back. This is a huge game. Winnipeg wins. They jump Washington. They take the division lead, and then Washington's all of a sudden battling for the 8th spot in the playoffs. Washington wins tonight. They go up by about 3 points on the division, and Winnipeg's in dire straits for that 8th seed. So you can make the case that the team that doesn't win this division may not make the playoffs. So that's how big this game is tonight. Winnipeg at Washington. If you're looking for some hockey, that's a must-watch. Winnipeg at Washington tonight. Rangers at Florida. Rangers got to keep their foot on the gas. Can't afford any slip-ups to a bad Florida team. Colorado at St. Louis. LA at Minnesota. Big game for Minnesota. They're starting to drop a little bit. Dallas at San Jose. Dallas has to win all their games. Buffalo at Pittsburgh. We'll see if Pittsburgh can continue their winning ways. They're chasing Chicago for best mark overall. Buffalo looks like they're done. Islanders at Carolina. We'll see if the Islanders' winning streak continues. And Montreal at the Devils. The Devils are finished. I'd like to see Montreal play a little better going into the playoffs. They were so hot for so long. They've kind of slipped a little bit in the previous weeks. The Bruins have caught them in the division. See if Montreal can play a little better hockey heading into the playoffs. Okay, so there you go. You guys are all caught up for Tuesday. You guys, thanks for the support. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. Tomorrow I will be back with you. We'll do our Major League Baseball State of the Union, and we'll recap everything else that took place in the sports world tonight. You guys enjoy the games tonight. You got your hockey. Make sure you pay attention to that Winnipeg-Washington game. You got 3 NBA playoff games, and of course you got a plethora of Major League Baseball. So once again, you guys, thanks for the support. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. Enjoy the games tonight. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, Wednesday. Take care.